as we try to get a guest on up in here. Hey, what's up, Natasha? What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's up? How's it going? Can you hear me?
Hello,
How old are you?
14.
You gotta be 18 or older to join.
Oh,
Sorry.
my bad.
Yeah, only request to join if you're 18 or older. It's like a TikTok terms of service type thing. But it's great to see everyone. Hey, what's up, Miguel?
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Okay, cool. So, do you think God is real?
Yeah, definitely.
And what religion are you specifically?
I'm not a denomination right now.
Okay, but are you like a Christian or what God do you believe in?
Yeah, I believe in the Christian God.
Okay, so when I ask you what religion, it seems like the answer is like the Christian God. What's your best argument for the existence of the Christian God?
Um, the existence of God, I guess. I don't know. I don't really argue or debate, I guess.
Okay, so the name of the stream is like debates, so maybe I could give you an argument.
Sure.
So I think the Christian God is nonsense because I think the Trinity is nonsense. So let's do some basic counting.
I'm not a
I'm a
Trinitarian.
person, Steph is a person, you're a person. We have three people. The Son is God, the Father is God, the Holy Spirit is God. We would have three gods.
I
So
agree.
it seems like you're not a monotheist, you'd actually be a polytheist.
No, I agree with you, actually. I'm not a Trinitarian.
Oh, okay, cool. That's like based, I guess. But that just means that you're going to hell in like literally every denomination. But that's fine. That does get you out of the problem of the Trinity. Yeah.
That
Don't.
doesn't mean I'm going to hell. I mean that's if you're a Catholic and you're calling me a heretic. You're
Yeah,
not.
well, like every Christian, if you reject the Trinity, every Christian would call you a heretic. Yeah.
Sure, that's a subjective thing. So, I mean, I wouldn't go to hell.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Okay, that's fine. I'll run like just the problem of evil at you then.
Sure.
I think there's a problem between a God who is all good and who is in control of the natural order and the existence of gratuitous natural evils, things like earthquakes. If God is all good, then why would he allow earthquakes to like ravage humanity?
I would say that God's initial plan was not. Initial plan was for humanity to have a happy life, and this life is the lack of God. When Adam and Eve lived in the Garden of Eden, obviously there was no disasters going on at the Garden of Eden, and where there was disasters, natural disasters, there was not humans. So if humans were guided by God throughout time, then I think it'd be obvious that God would tell you where are the places you can be or where you can live. Obviously, if we make a house in a volcano, it's not it wouldn't be God's fault. So just because the world is getting populated and there and so what I'm saying is that this tragedy and everything that you see, these disasters, is the lack of God. And without God's guidance and the lack of him, then humanity is just depending on themselves. And yeah, because of that, there is a lot of natural disasters that probably wouldn't otherwise happen, if we had some guidance as to where to live or be.
Yeah, so I think like first things first, this just sounds like victim blaming. It sounds like you're essentially saying that these people suffer in earthquakes and it's like their fault because they're not listening to God about the places where you should and shouldn't be living, which is nonsense, by the way. There's like earthquakes in like
Oh,
nearly every part of the world. Like in holy sites, there are earthquakes that take place there.
sure.
But moreover, I don't think that the fall of man is capable of explaining the existence of earthquakes insofar as we have archaeological and geological evidence that earthquakes happened billions of years before humans existed. For example, we know that Pangea was split apart by earthquakes and volcanic
Yeah, I'll just cut
activity
you there. I mean,
billions of years
I just,
before.
I'll concede to that. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's not the case. I'm not saying that the fall of man caused these natural disasters. I'm
Mhm.
saying that because of the fall of man, we have lost that guidance by God. So this world is the lack of God, and it is in the power of the evil one, and he is the one causing all this calamity. So even though there was natural disasters in the past, now it's much more so because of the evil one. But also, had God stayed with us, like if the fall of man never happened, then we would, of course, we would be led the right way and where to establish. And of course, God would tell us. I mean, I'm sure that the Garden of Eden would be bigger, or there wouldn't be as much natural disasters, or at least the natural disasters wouldn't be in the locations where they are now. We would have
Okay, wait.
some guidance,
Oh,
basically.
sure. So, maybe I'm just a little bit like lost and confused. So, are you saying that Satan is the one who's doing natural disasters?
No, I'm saying that he definitely has some type of control over some natural disasters. Like he can have power where he can manipulate to some degree. We don't know to what degree can he manipulate the physical world. Obviously, I can't make that argument because I don't know the intricacies of of the divine world. But I would say that he can manipulate some aspects, although we don't know what we know from the book of Job, where he caused a big gush of wind to destroy his house and kill his family. So he was able to control the weather in that case.
Okay, so if Satan doesn't cause the earthquakes, who does?
Well, it could just be part of the natural world. The
Okay,
earthquake.
and who made the natural world?
Yeah, I'm saying it's part of God's design. But you're
God, so earthquakes are a part of God's plan
God's design. Yeah,
or
yeah,
God's design. Is God's design good?
yeah,
Okay, so if something is a part of God's design, you think it's good.
yeah.
So you think earthquakes are good?
Yeah, I think there's some purpose for earthquakes, even though we may not know what they are. I mean,
Okay,
I'm sure it
so
has to
in
do
in
something with the time.
2004 there was like a massive earthquake that took the lives of 224,000 people. Do you think this earthquake was good?
I don't think that people dying is good.
But do you think the earthquake that caused people to die was good?
Yeah, because it had some. It's like you're saying. It's like you're saying. Are volcanoes good?
I would
And like,
say no.
yeah, but we know that volcanoes are the reason why we have some land and some islands, and this is how all pieces of land were formed is through volcanoes.
Yes, and that's totally fine. So I can say that like the volcanic activity that happened before humans or like animals existed that was necessary for the formation of land for us to live on, those volcanoes could have been good. And now that we actually live on land, volcanoes now are really bad because they take a lot of lives. So I can just
Sure.
hold that they used to be good and that they're no longer good. So I can hold that like earthquakes,
Sure. So then I could
if
say the
earthquakes
same
had
thing
like
then.
a
I could
unique property, I could say that like well they were good when they did this thing and now they are no longer good when they take lives.
Sure. So I can say the same thing. I can say that God designed this world to be good, and because of the fall of man, and now because we're guiding ourselves, and we don't, and because the world is the lack of God, now these natural events are now bad because we
But
don't have no guidance.
that seems to be inconsistent because I thought you said that earthquakes were good.
Yeah, the same way that you said volcanoes were good,
No, I
and now they're
didn't
bad.
say volcano. So I said before like life existed, maybe volcanoes forming land by shooting out molten lava, like maybe that is a good thing. And then as soon as like life started to exist and it started to be damaged by volcanic activity, then volcanoes became a bad thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I could agree that. So that's, I mean, there's a lot of I mean, there's a lot of subjectivity there. I would say because, and there's like there's no really like clear distinction of when will volcanoes become good. I mean, sorry, become bad. It's like you're saying volcanoes were good. Now they're bad because they're killing people. But what about the volcanoes that are not killing people and that are creating these new pieces of land?
Yeah, I think it just depends on its effects on the ecosystem. So if it's like detrimental to the ecosystem and causes lots of animals or like plants to be unalived, and I'd say that those are bad. And if it does something beneficial to the ecosystem, then I think that those volcanoes are good. I think that that's going to be just like the pretty basic dividing line between a good volcano and a bad volcano. And similarly, if we have an earthquake and that earthquake takes the life of 200,000 people, that's a bad earthquake.
Sure, I could definitely support that. Yeah, I think that's it's a bad volcano. Although the intention of the volcanoes were good, the fact that people reside where this volcano is bad, and therefore the volcano is bad. So I
Yeah,
mean,
but I
still
this does
doesn't.
just feel like victim blaming. Like you're saying like it's, well,
No,
actually, no. I
it's
guess
consistent.
that's not really what you're saying. That's fine. But in this case, you'd be holding that. So all these earthquakes are a part of God's plan, which means that they're good. But you also agree that this earthquake was bad. So you would hold that this earthquake is both good and bad.
Yeah, the creation of the volcano is good. The fall of man, which the fall of man, which made us lose our guidance, is bad. In which case, this is the reason why we succumb to some natural forces, and why we succumb to evil.
So when God was making tectonic plates, did he know that man would fall and that this would now cause like earthquakes, which would take the lives of all these people?
I can't make that claim. I don't. So here's
Does
the thing.
God know all things?
Yeah, but we don't know what that exactly means. So you can
Well, it
say
presumably it just means that God knows like all propositions, right? Like
no.
all true propositions.
No, because let me put it this way. Let me clarify things. If God exists, right? If God exists and He is eternal, okay? If He is eternal, would you say that an eternal thing or an eternal God is illogical to our human logic? What is that illogical?
Not in and of that self, or not in and of itself
What's logical
necessarily.
about that then? What's logical
Like
then?
I don't know. So I think that there's the properties of a specific God are going to lead to logical contradictions. But if your claim is just that God exists outside of logic, that opens up like an entire can of worms that you definitely don't want to. So
No, I
does
mean
does
I'm not trying to open a can of worms. I'm just being as truthful as I can. And
no, that's like totally fine. So I just have a question for you.
yeah.
Or I have two questions for you.
Mhm.
So can God microwave a hot pocket so hot that he can't touch it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, because
Okay,
because
so
again, this is divine logic. You're basically asking me, is God capable of a contradiction? I don't know. He might not.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
cool. Wait, so unfortunately, I don't know actually doesn't get you out of this one because there's two paths. So either the answer is yes, God can do this thing. He can
Nope.
microwave a hot
Wrong
pocket so
again.
hot that he can't touch it.
It's not a
In
dichotomy. It's not a true dichotomy. It is a true
no, it
dichotomy within
is
human constructs.
because
Within the
he either can do it or he can't do it.
Yeah. So I understand what you're trying to say. I understand, given our human construct and our philosophy, it is a true dichotomy. But what I'm trying to say, if there is a divine logic, then our dichotomies doesn't apply to him. It's a different philosophy. It's divine philosophy. So I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh yeah, God can do this and can do that with his all knowing power, because I don't know. So I'm being truthful as I
Hey,
can.
thanks so much for the roses, Kate or Katie. I appreciate it. Thanks so
Okay,
much.
how about this? Let me just ask you a quick question. If
Yeah,
if God is real and He is eternal, and He's obviously outside of what we can understand or we can fathom outside of our logic, because that's what the Bible says, right?
yeah.
If this is true, would it not be fair to say that there is a different type of logic and philosophy that would explain Him? So not our human construct. Would that be
No,
fair to
no.
say?
So the problem is not that we can't comprehend God in his entirety. The problem is that God can't be grasped logically. That there is a logical contradiction in the existence of a God. So if I told you that like I wrote on my paper uh a circle which was a square, I drew like a squared circle on my page and then I erased it, would you believe me? Katie, you're going crazy, Katie. W Katie in the comment section. Thanks so much. That's wild. What a menace.
Would I believe you if you draw a squared circle?
Yeah, yeah. So if I told you I just drew a squared circle and then I erased it, would you believe me?
No,
Why not?
because given our three-dimensional world, a square can't be a circle. But hold on, before you say anything, let me just say something. If we live in a 2D world and you drew a square and you told me as a 2D person that this square you can make this square into a rectangle, I'll say that's not true.
Damn, Katie. Katie's going
How?
crazy. Katie, you're wild. I'm sorry. Please keep on going.
Sure. If we live in a 2D world and you tell me as a two
Six six
person,
six roses. That's so funny. W666 in the comments, by the way.
if we live in a 2D world and you tell me as a 2D person that you can make a square into a rectangle, I'll tell you that's not possible. But if you add another dimensional plane, you add the third dimension, then you can make that square elongated into a rectangle. So what happened? What was the difference? It was a contradiction in the 2D world, but it was not a contradiction in the 3D world. So if a square has enough dimensional planes, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of planes, maybe a square could be a circle. I don't
No,
know.
no. So this is just nonsense though, because
It's not. It's just
a
deep
square a
philosophy.
square is a fundamentally 2D object. A circle is a fundamentally 2D object. You can draw like a square on like the wall of your room. You can like put the square in like the 3D space, but it's still itself going to be a 2D object. So no matter what dimension you're in, a square is not a circle.
A square is not a circle. Yeah, so I would say I would concede that in our 3D world, a square
In
can be a circle, but I don't know about other dimensions. I feel like it would be possible if you put enough dimensional planes. We only know of a 3D world. If you put enough dimensional planes, a square could become a circle, and
That's not true.
it might be hard for your head to wrap for you to wrap your head around that concept, but you don't have the capacity to even understand that.
Yeah, so
So
we have
you,
mathematicians who study like complex, like multi-dimensional geometry. Like you can study geometry in like 12 dimensions if you wanted to. In 12 dimensions, a square is not going to be a rectangle. There is no number of
okay,
dimensions in which like a square somehow suddenly turns into a rectangle.
you
It's a
can't make that
logical
claim. You can't make
contradiction
that
just
truth
by
claim.
definition.
It's yeah, but that definition is within our philosophical framework. You cannot make that truth claim. We don't
Yeah,
have absolute truth.
it's no, it's actually pretty basic. It's just called an analytic truth. So the definition of a circle is a shape where every point is equidistant from the center, i.e., a shape that like this. One of the implications of this, one of the corollaries of this, is that it does not have sides, whereas a square is something that has four sides that are all
Yeah,
equivalent length at like 90-degree angles to each other.
I see.
Now
I like I
you can't have both four sides and also no sides. It's not possible.
trust me. I understand where you're coming from. It's a contradiction. Um, I have to go, but I just want to say one last thing, and I would say that a lot of atheists like to put these seemingly contradictory attributes of God, and somehow tell the theist to reconcile these seemingly contradictory statements. But that is not possible because we don't have the divine philosophy, or we don't have divine logic to be able to reconcile these two things. So I mean,
That's cool. Then your worldview is just illogical.
of course, everything outside of our logic will be considered to us illogical. But
Yes, yeah. Wait. So then you agree that it's illogical?
I'm saying everything outside of our logic would be considered illogical by us. In an absolute sense, it is logic. To us, it'll be illogical because we can't wrap our heads around that type of logic.
So if it violates laws of logic, then how could it be logical?
Because the laws of logic are human constructs.
Wait. So you think that is it possible that the sun could both exist and not exist?
That's another true claim I can't make.
You don't. You have no idea whether the sun could both exist and not exist.
Within our
You have
physical,
no
okay,
idea.
within our physical world, no. I think that would be a contradiction within our physical world.
Cool. So it sounds like the law of non-contradiction is true and real and not just a human construct.
No, it is true in our physical world, but in an absolute sense, I cannot say as a truth claim that that can apply to all possible worlds or just as a you know just in any other dimension. That's a truth claim I can't say.
So you think that there's some dimension where the sun could both exist and not exist?
Is there a dimension we can exist? I don't know. I don't think so. But I mean, I'm not gonna say we don't have any absolute truths.
Well, I think that we have some absolute truths, right? Like A is A, the sun is the sun, good is good, I am me. Like these things are just like that's just the law of identity.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but what if you aren't okay? What if you are not? If you're not you, what if you're a brain
What
in
if I'm
what if
not?
you're a
So
brain in a vat?
do you think it's possible that A is not A?
What if you're a brain in a vat?
What if
You're
I'm a
not
brain
really
in a
you.
vat?
Yeah, you're
Why would
just
that mean that I'm not me?
because I mean you are your physical self, but you're
Well,
not a
I mean,
physical
not if
self.
I'm a brain in a vat. Then, like, me as a brain in a vat is going to be me as a brain in a vat. Like, I'm still me.
Right, but then so okay, so in that sense, if you in that sense, then I can say that I mean, I don't know. Even then, I can't claim any absolute truths.
That's yeah. I don't know. This just leads to like universal skepticism. Would you claim the absolute truth that God is real?
Yes,
Oh, so it seems like you actually do claim absolute truths.
that's the only one. It's the only absolute truths we got come from the Bible. That's the only absolute truth we got.
Well, so it seems like you also hold to be absolutely true that like the Bible is true. So it seems like you actually hold like a lot of absolute truths, but then you switch to holding no absolute truths the second somebody starts like deconstructing your worldview.
Yeah, because the Bible is coming from God, who is the Almighty, who is the Creator of all, and He has the absolute knowledge. God has the absolute knowledge. So if He has absolute knowledge, then the Bible has absolute truths. So if the
Yeah,
Bible's yeah, okay.
well, this is just going to be like a circular argument, right? Like you're saying that, well, you know that the Bible is true because you know God exists, and you know God exists because, of course, you know the Bible is true. So you just start with the Bible is true, and then you go
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the
you're
Bible
right.
is
You're right.
true.
That is true. I thought you were doing an internal critique of my view. So if you're doing an internal critique, then the Bible is true. But if
Yeah,
that's not the case, then we're arguing the wrong thing. Then you would argue the validity of the Bible.
yeah, it's fine. But I'm probably going to move on to the next
All
guest. But I
right,
appreciate you coming
thank
on
you.
up here. Hey, make sure you're dropping a follow if you're enjoying the debate so far. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get this up to like 20K likes. Share it with your friends, drop a follow as well. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. You should also consider joining the Discord if you want to join the community. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly dash Ian and the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you so much. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Good.
How old are you?
18.
Okay, and what year were you born?
2006.
2006. Cool. What religion are you?
Christian.
Christian. So, what's your best argument for the truth of Christianity or the existence of God?
So, what do you believe is the origin of life?
The origin of life. So, the leading hypothesis is abiogenesis, that life formed from like molecules and atoms, that the conditions on the earth were exactly right for atoms to turn into organic compounds and organic compounds to turn into organelles and for organelles to form protocells, which then formed cells.
All right. And do you believe in the cell theory?
Yes, yeah. I
And
believe in
that
cell
states that
theory.
all cells come from pre-existing cells, not that.
No. So it would state that all cells that currently exist come from pre-existing cells, but obviously they don't believe in like an infinite regress.
Um,
I don't think could you actually show me where it says specifically like a core tenet is that all cells come from existing cells?
I mean, you can look up the cell theory. It says all cells come
N-
from
There
pre-existing
so
cells.
so the cell theory is like a it's like a full scientific theory. Like it's not just one thing, and I have looked it up and it doesn't I can't seem to find anything that says that like every single cell that's ever existed came from a different cell that already existed.
Exactly, because that would be illogical. So there has to be a
Yes, it would.
creator.
Yeah, which is why they don't claim it. Yeah, precisely. Yeah,
That
you
is the
got it.
claim. It's all cells.
No, it's not. Can you haven't been able to, so you can strawman the position and the belief as much as you want, unless you have like a source, like a leading researcher of like cell theory who's like, yeah, every single cell comes from existing cells. Like this is like simply just not what I believe.
Oh, all right. So you don't agree with the cell theory.
No, that's not what cell theory says.
So can you pull it up for me then?
Cell theory isn't like a thing, and you're the one who's making the claim, so you'd have to do that. Katie, thanks so much for the $10 on Cash App. W Katie in the comments section. I appreciate it, Katie. Again, like the Venmo is allegedly Dash Ian, and the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, cell theory just doesn't say that.
And how do you believe? Do you believe in like objective morals? Do you believe?
Not really.
So wait, last thing, because I have to run in a minute. So do
Yeah.
you believe that the rational comes from the irrational, aka like human reason comes from nothing, essentially?
No, so I think that human reason is like a result of natural selection, which maybe I would consider to be like a rational process that, or at least like it's a process that makes intuitive sense. So insofar as this stuff comes from natural selection, and that like traits like being intelligent is going to be naturally selected, or yeah, that it's going to be like naturally selected for, then I could hold that like the rational actually does come from the rational. Otherwise, if you wouldn't consider like natural selection to be a rational process, then I'd say that yeah, the rational does come from the like irrational or like the irrational.
All right, and last thing, 'cause I have to go. I just believe if you look at a building, the building in itself is proof that there was a creator. And you look at the order of the universe, I just don't feel like a big bang could cause all this order and then a Goldilocks zone and then creation for life.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack there. So first of all, in terms of a building, we know that a building is built by a builder because we know where buildings come from. We don't know where universes come from, which is why we can't say that like a universe must have been made by God. Maybe we could just say that the universe was made by like uh, like a singularity or whatever. And we don't need to posit the existence of a God who needs us to love him, or like a Satan who's gonna like nefariously tempt us and we're gonna have to resist him. Second, the Goldilocks zone is literally millions of miles wide. So it's not like this cosmic miracle that we're in the Goldilocks zone. In fact, there's like plenty of planets that fall within the Goldilocks zone and are capable of forming liquid water. It just so happened to be us. And there's probably other planets out there that do have life.
All right. And about God, I don't believe God is possible of contradictions. I believe his omnipotent is within reason.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that's the only way that you can salvage the view. I agree.
Because nowhere does it clearly say that. Because I believe omnipotence works within reason. I don't really see a definition that
Mhm.
disagrees with that.
Yeah.
Obviously, God can't make a sun exist and not exist.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that that's like the intelligent response to that question is that God can do anything that's like logically consistent. Otherwise, you need to ask. Like you have to get asked like all the funny questions about like a rock that's too heavy for him to lift. Could God like take his own life? Could God like poof or you know, could God make like a sword that's like sharp enough to cut through anything and like a shield that like can't be cut through? Like you just have to answer like nonsense questions if you think that God can do illogical things, which is why I think it's like it's wise, it's intelligent for you to hold the position that you do on that.
Yep. All right. Well, I have to go. I just wanted to say my
Yeah.
stance, and so you could use this for other people when they say God is capable of contradictions, because
Yeah.
that's just not.
They're not going to listen to you, but yeah, that is like I've told people multiple times that this is what they should say. They should say that God can't do contradictory things. Like he's powerful enough to do anything that's logically possible. They just don't listen. But I mean that is like that's a good message to tell people, definitely.
All right. And I just wanted to say, like, do you like love? Is it like scientifically just all chemicals? And because I
Is it
believe
scientifically like yeah,
like what
it's
is love? Because I believe
oop, what
love
the
is like
fuck? What?
like
Wait, can you hear this? Jesus, wait, hold on. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, gang. I was like, my app just like had a fucking. Are you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does the atheist believe that love is?
Uh, what do you? I
Like, like, I don't know. Like, how does the atheist like believe in the origin of love? Because I just believe love is just. I
Yeah,
don't.
so yeah,
I
that's
don't
like
know.
pretty easy for me. I think that there's lots of evolutionary reasons why you would want people to be in love. So, for example, if you want people to like have kids with each other, you would probably make them love each other. If you want them to like raise their kids, you would probably make them love their kids. There are some species that don't feel love in this way. So, if you take like a crab, for example, a crab doesn't feel love for its children. You can like watch it. And it'll just be like munching down on its like kids that it just gave birth to as like a little snack or whatever. So there's some animals where it's like just survivally advantageous to be in like to feel love for your children, for your partner, for your spouse. And then there's like some animals where it's not, and then in those animals they don't really feel love.
All right. Thank you. Well, I gotta go.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on up here. Hey, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get to what are we? Oh God, get away from me. There's a fly or whatever. Yeah, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get to 30K likes. We're almost there. You can leave as many as you want. Share it with your friends as well. Drop a comment. Um, if you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly dash Ian, and the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support, and yeah. Also, consider joining the Discord if you're enjoying the debate so far. If you like politics, religion, or philosophy, or you just want a fun social place to hang out. The Discord is a great space to do that. The link is in my bio. You need to copy it and paste it directly into a web browser or like the Discord app itself. Make sure you're dropping a follow, and with that, we'll go to the next guest. Excuse me. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, I just wanted to say real quick that guy's question was actually what is love? Like what causes love? Not
Oh, oh, I thought he
yeah.
asked like where does it arise from?
Nah,
Um,
he just wondered like what is it? Is it like a chemical process? What is it?
yeah, it's. I would say that it's like a chemical process, but it's like a chemical process that we associate a specific like sensory experience to.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming on up here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, make sure you're. All right, let's try to get someone in here for some debates, but share it with your friends. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
How old are you?
So, how old am I?
Yeah, how old are you? Because TikTok terms of service says that you have to be 18 or older to join, so I'm just asking you. I'm just verifying that you're 18 or older.
Yeah, that's all good. So he says, "How do you know that you are you?" And he said, "What was your answer to that?"
Jason, thanks so much for the $4 on Cash App. W Jason in the comment section. Thank you so much. Well, he asked me, "How do I know I'm me?"
Yeah, or something about like how do you know that you're
Oh, what the
not you?
fuck?
Like,
Fuck you, Jason. Canceled the $4 payment. L Jason in the comment section.
oh shit, I just got $4 in my Venmo.
That's funny.
Nice.
Um,
Maybe he was trying to send them to me.
yeah.
Cool.
No, that's
Anyway,
nice. That's quite the mistake. Um, but so I believe in the law of identity. I think A is A. So I'm me.
all right. So do you think that like there was a time when a heart transplant was not possible in our history? Sometime
Was there a
because of
time
our
where a heart transplant?
right.
Katie,
Yeah,
thanks so much for the
well,
$4 for L Jason. I appreciate it. W Katie in the comment section. Um, was there a time where a heart transplant? This okay?
right.
Did you have like a more direct like? What's the argument? Why would this mean that
Well, I'm
God
getting
is
to it.
real?
You got to be patient. I'm getting to
Yeah.
it.
So was there a time when a heart transplant wasn't possible?
Right. And then now it's
Yeah, there
possible.
was.
Okay. Is a brain transplant possible today?
I don't think so.
Do you think there'll be a time that it will be?
Could be.
Okay. Fair enough. So, if, for example, your brain was transferred into another body and it works, and then another brain was transferred to your body, so who was you?
Well, I mean, I think you're your mind, so I'd say that I'd probably say that you're whoever has like your mind.
Okay, so they transfer you to someone else. You're what? So you're your brain, pretty much.
Yeah, I would say that you're your mind specifically, or like your brain, I guess. Sure.
What if that? What if it results that that brain went into someone else and it doesn't? It thinks nothing like it used to think before.
Oh, well, so I think that you're
Question.
your mind, so I'd probably just say it's like a new entity. This is like, I feel like this isn't related to the topic, so unless you have a specific, um, unless you have a specific, like, argument for the existence of God, I probably need to move on to the next, like, person.
Oh shit! I just got another $12 on Venmo.
That's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Um,
I got like another $4 from Jason. We'll see. But do you have an
so
argument for the existence of God?
yeah, so you said that we can't make a circle out of a square, right?
Yeah, wait, but this is like you're all over the place. Wait, so God exists because of what?
Well, because I've been listening to the live and I hear conversations with you. You have with other people, and so as I'm listening, I develop some questions. You know.
That's fine. The problem that I have is that it's like very disorganized and that like none of these like even if you got me to like concede on like any of these, that wouldn't mean that God doesn't or that God exists because none of these actually fit into a broader conversation because we haven't established that broader conversation yet.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
already know.
you need to give like a straightforward like God exists because of this, and then from there it leads us to like other places.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on up here. Um, Hey, only request to join if you have like a real argument. Please don't waste my time. Don't be like responding to things that happened like eons ago even. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, dropping a follow as well. And with that, hey, what's up? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. What about you?
Doing well, doing well. How old are you?
18, bro.
Yeah, and what year you were born?
Oh, 06.
Oh, six, sure.
Yeah,
What
bro.
religion are you?
Christian, bro.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's your best argument for the existence of the Christian God?
Well, like, you got the Bible and everything. You feel me? Got the Bible. I think it's talked about in, like, history books, you know?
No, the Bible is like historically like really bad. So we can start with like Genesis. Genesis is wrong. It gives like it explains how the world was created. It's all made
Wait,
up.
can I let you
So
know I don't have, like, any, like, type of, like, whatchamacallit, like, books or any of that on me, so
that's fine. I
you
can
can
just
just
explain
off
it
of
to you.
knowledge.
So
All right.
in Genesis, like 1:6, it essentially says that like outer space is water. It says that God made the sky to separate like the water below the sky from the water above the sky. It's saying that outer space is water. That like the stuff above the sky is water. Um, that's not the case. It says that like the stars are not these like big celestial objects that are very far away, but rather are
Yeah.
like things that are just embedded in the sky. That like the sky is like a hard like thing, and that these are just like little things that are like embedded within the sky. It's nonsense. And then if you go to like Exodus, it talks about like a mass like exodus of the Jewish people from Egypt. That didn't happen. There's literally no archaeological evidence of anything like that happening. There's no geological evidence of like the flood happening back in Genesis. The Bible is just like
Talking
a
about the
really
flow where,
terrible
like,
history
Moses
book.
split the little river? Like, the flow where he split the river.
Oh yeah, well there's no evidence for the Exodus, and there's definitely no evidence that Moses split the Red Sea.
So what makes you think that there's no evidence, bro?
The fact that there's no evidence, what makes you think that there is? Like the fact that I've never been presented with compelling evidence. What evidence do you have that it did happen?
All right, both of you like never seen it, right? We never seen it, but like it's in a book though. Like,
What's the book?
man, I don't know, but it's in like a book.
Okay. So God's not real and it's just in like a book.
Wait, hold up. So like, well, oh,
Yeah, so if your argument is just like it's
I
in a
think
book
God is real
somewhere.
because that's my religion, bro. But like, damn,
Yeah, so if you're just saying like well, you know, this thing happened, trust me it's in a book somewhere, then I would say like God's not real, trust me it's in a book somewhere.
Like, I mean, it's only in the Bible though, but like I strongly believe in the Bible though. You feel
That's
me?
fine. I strongly don't believe in the Bible. Like, do you think outer space is water?
You said what?
Do you think outer space is water?
Huh?
Okay, then you would disagree with the Bible on that. Do you think slavery is always wrong?
Yeah.
Do you think then you disagree with the Bible on that too? Do you think like genocide is ever
Wait,
acceptable?
hold on. Did you say? Do you think slavery is wrong?
Yeah, because the
Okay, yeah.
Bible in
Yes,
Leviticus
yes.
says that like slavery is totally cool. Like you can go for it if you want to.
It says that in the Bible.
It does, yeah.
Where does it
Leviticus
say that in the
25,
Bible?
44 through 46. It's like basically
What?
so
What book again? What did you say?
it's Leviticus 40 20 Leviticus 25 44 through 46. Sorry, it's been a while since the verses.
Yeah.
But it says like yeah. So essentially what happened was according to the Bible's lore, the Jews left Egypt, they formed Israel, and then Moses went and like talked to God for a while to sort out like rules for the Israelites. And one of the rules was you're more than welcome to own slaves. There's no moral issue with you owning slaves. Just don't own like other Israelites as slaves. So God says explicitly in the Bible that the Israelites, His chosen people, were more than welcome to own slaves.
So I didn't know like Leviticus was a book in the Bible. Do you have like a screen sharing thing? Like you could like show me like a Bible or something? Do you have like something on you?
I think I just have like a fucking Bible. Yeah, let's go to Leviticus. Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. Um, Damn, I went too far. Oh yeah, okay. So this is like the King James version, which translates the word specifically as bondmen and bondmaids. But don't let that confuse you. These words mean slave. If you look up like the definition of it, it means either a peasant or a slave. Peasants only exist under feudalism, which wasn't a system that existed at that point. So if it means either like peasant or slave, and it doesn't mean peasant, then it means slave. But don't let that confuse you. So, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor. Sorry, it's the King James version. It's terrible. It's a terrible read. But yeah, it's just saying like you can own slaves.
Is that Old Testament?
It is Old Testament. Yeah, it's like the third book of the Bible. But I mean, so if you think that God was always good and that slavery was always bad, then there's still a contradiction.
I think God is God, and like you know, it's like a whole nother level, right? You feel me?
No, I don't think so. Like, what level do you think you have to be on to say that like slavery is chill?
No, slavery is wrong, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, but so like I don't think God would like, I think God like lets people have freedom and everything. Like that's like his belief and everything.
I think that's like pretty clearly not what it's saying, because this verse isn't saying like you have the freedom to own slaves. You can use your free will to own slaves, but you can't use your free will to own like other Israelites, because like presumably if this is just saying like you have the free will to do bad things, then it would be saying like it wouldn't carve out these exceptions, because presumably they also have like the free will to own each other if they wanted to. But that's just not what it says. It says you can own other people as slaves, just don't own each other as slaves, because you're all Israelites.
All right, since we're on this topic, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, and you know how Christianity revolves around Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I do.
So, Jesus Christ was black in a way, right?
Maybe he was probably Middle Eastern.
Yeah, something in that range. So,
Yeah.
if wait, no, that wouldn't make any sense because like enslaving black people that happened like way after.
Yeah, but so slavery is just like when you own other people.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you're right. Like they weren't enslaving like black people per se. Although maybe they were, I don't know. I mean, like there's like parts of Africa that aren't too far away from the Middle East. So um like they probably did enslave like some African people, but yeah, the people that they primarily enslaved were like other Middle Easterners, but it was still slavery.
Yeah. I'm sorry, bro. I'm like bad at debating. I
No,
just
it's okay. Yeah, it's like
see
totally
like your point
fine.
of view and everything, bro. I think like you're an intelligent person, bro. It's just my like views on God and everything.
Yeah.
Like it's helped me out in like many different ways, like mentally and everything, bro. And, like I just like came out here to defend it, bro. Like
Yeah, that's
also
fine.
be
That's
like
fine.
respectful and everything, like no bashing or nothing.
Yeah, no, you're totally chill. I appreciate you coming on up here.
Yeah, of course, bro. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Oh, sorry. I might have disconnected him too soon. Make sure you're dropping a follow if you're enjoying the debate so far. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get to 50K likes. I like it when the guest is chill and just like interested in like learning and exploring a bit more. Share it with your friends. Drop a comment as well. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly Dash Ian and the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. If you want to join the community, if you like this debate, if you want to talk about politics, religion, philosophy, the Discord is in the bio. I would love to see you there. It's a great place. We talk about all those things. I notify you every single time that I go live. It's a really social space and it's a lot of fun. So feel free to request to join if you're interested in, or no, feel free to join the Discord. I'm sorry, I'm like spacey. Hey, what's up, Dean? Here you're having car problems.
Yeah,
Are you in like a parking lot? What are you?
car dealership right now.
Fuck
Anyways,
yeah.
so I've been here for 3 days, and I really haven't been able to debate. You want to co-host for a little bit?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, definitely.
Let's
No,
do
I'm
it,
just
man.
like I was just getting back into it, but I hope everything's going well. Like, are you worried that this is gonna be like a long-term issue for you?
No, we pretty much got it figured out. So the first day, they replaced the battery in the battery fuse box. The second day, they replaced the TCM, and now the third day, they've redone the wiring to the TCM and are replacing the thermostat. So, you know, big issue here, stuck in Vegas, but you know
Mhm.
we're working through it.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, so did you ever end up going like to the Trump rally?
Yeah.
Oh,
I could
Did
send
you-
you some clips from that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Is it on like YouTube? I could just watch it.
Well, it's not on YouTube yet because I need to get home and have access to my computer before I'm like able
Gotcha.
to edit and post anything.
Yeah.
But I like do have some minimal clips that I was able to make on the go that
No,
I
that's-
haven't posted yet, but I'll send them to you privately.
That's so rad. Yeah. Hey, huge congrats to you for like going and doing that. That's pretty huge.
Well, I appreciate you for that.
Yeah. Hey, if you're not following Dean, I'm sure everyone here is following Dean, but if you're not following Dean, make sure you drop Dean a follow. Consider supporting Dean. What do you have like PayPal and Venmo? Yeah,
Yeah.
support Dean on like PayPal and Venmo. You know he needs it with with the way his car's been going.
We're like 4K deep right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's a nice car, but yeah. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. All right, let's see. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, Ian.
Hey, how old are you?
Oh, 29.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're 29. Yeah.
Yes.
What religion are you?
Christian. But I tend to go into the Pentecostal Word of Faith denomination.
So, are you like a oneness Pentecostal?
No, more classical Assemblies of God. So
I'm not entirely sure what that entails, but no, I don't know. I think it would have been based if you said that you are a oneness Pentecostal because the Trinity is nonsense. But
I believe in the Godhead's version of the Trinity, which is in the Bible.
oh,
Right.
sure. I mean, I don't know. I think the Trinity's interesting. So let's do some basic counting. So I'm a person, you're a person, Dean's a person. We have three people here. Jesus is God, the Father is God, the Holy Spirit is God. We would have three gods here. So, in what sense, when you say that Jesus is God, what sense are you using the word is?
That he is the version of God manifest in the flesh, so he's the human version of God.
So, you're a modalist?
I'm not sure what that word means.
So,
So-
do you just think that God takes like multiple different modes?
Oh, I think he can appear in different ways, but I don't know if he necessarily shifts into a different mode. So I think, while Jesus was on the earth during his first coming, I believe that God the Father was still up on the throne and that his spirit was within Jesus at the time, and that was given up at the crucifixion on the cross. That Bible verse that says that he gave up the ghost, and
No, that's like that's fine. So like another example of like modalism is like, so let's say that we have this puddle, and this puddle has like two modes. It's either like frozen or it's in like its liquid form. So the frozen puddle is the puddle, and the thanks so much for the coral. I appreciate it, Colin. W Colin, and thanks Athena so much for the like hand heart. I really do appreciate that, Athena. So sorry, spacey. I haven't slept like hardly at all. So one mode of this puddle would be that it's like frozen, and one mode would be that it's like unfrozen. Both are the puddle, but the frozen puddle is not the unfrozen puddle. Would that be like your view? Because if this is your view, this is like considered heresy.
I don't believe so. So I believe that God exists in all three at the same
Here.
time.
Maybe we could clear up this issue without even wrapping in the metaphysics. We could just talk about the logical implications. So, the doctrine of the Trinity, in a nutshell, would follow with a couple premises. One of them being that Jesus is God, and another one being that the Father is God. However, the Trinity doctrine would also state that Jesus is not the Father. However, if it is true that Jesus is identical to God and the Father is also identical to God, then we would expect no distinction between Jesus and the Father unless we were to uphold some system of logic that wasn't classical, or you were just willing to accept that the Trinity is illogical by nature. So how would you explain this?
So this goes into a little bit of what the Catholics believe, or let me explain it how they explain it. So they believe the Trinity to be a mystery of faith. So the thing that God can be three in one, it's just a mystery, and we just don't know.
But
So you're just
this
saying-
so it's illogical essentially.
Yes, that's just what he's saying. Because the transversive law of logic would very blatantly tell us that there's some type of contradiction here, or it's just illogical by nature. And I guess that's my claim. The Trinity's illogical, and your response is, well, it's a mystery of faith.
Yeah.
That's true. Or maybe another better way to say it is it's supernatural, since it is a supernatural God. He can.
Does the supernatural fall outside of logic?
I doubt it. That is hard to
Okay.
say, because we could talk about the miracles in the Bible. So like a paralyzed man got up and walked just by Jesus saying, "Take up your mat and walk."
Oh.
So there's stuff like that. It's like, how did he get healed? How did this guy suddenly go from walking? So there's
So it's like a difference in like when we say possible. So a man like getting up and walking, like that's logically possible. There's not like a logical contradiction entailed by saying that like this person was just like magically healed and they got up and walked. Like there's no contradiction there. You might say that it's like physically or like medically impossible, but not logically impossible, the way you would say that it's logically impossible for the Trinity to exist.
okay. I see what you're saying. I don't know. I just know that that God does dwell within believers as the Holy Spirit. I know Jesus is the Son of God, who somehow is also God, and then there is God the Father, who was I know him and Jesus were there from the very beginning, along with the spirits.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
just seems like so when we push you on the Trinity, it seems like you just shrug your shoulders and say it's like a mystery of faith. But to me, this means that there's like literally no way to ever disprove the Christian worldview. I could show you the most direct contradiction ever. Like I could show you like a passage that said like, yeah, and then Jesus came down and like kicked the fuck out of that puppy, and you would just like shrug your shoulders and say, well, it's a mystery of faith.
I mean, he didn't kick any puppies, but I see where you're going here. It is kind of weird, but let's see. I was going to argue the Lee Strobel.
Hey, Ian.
Yeah, what's up?
I've been getting weird looks from a lot of people in the dealership. I'm gonna go ahead and drop. It was,
Yeah.
it was worth it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
worth a
Thanks,
try, though.
Yeah, thanks for coming on up here. No, I appreciate it. That's like,
Yeah.
that's reasonable.
Hope you're doing well with your new job.
Yeah, hey, thanks. I'm it's just about to start next Monday. I'm looking forward to it. No, I
Nice.
might be
Well, have a
streaming
good one.
less, but I'm
Oh.
looking forward to it, and I'm sure I'll be around. But
Hell
hey,
yeah.
thanks
Well,
so
hey,
much for coming on up here. I appreciate you.
Of course. Have a good one, Ian.
Yeah, you as well.
Bye bye.
Everyone say one nice thing about Dean as he departs. But yeah, let's get back to it. What's up?
Okay, so I just wanted to talk about Lee Strobel for a little bit. He's an investigative journalist who was an atheist for a long time, and then decided he was going to investigate the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus,
Yeah.
try to disprove it. And then when he did his research, went to go see historians and all that, he ended up finding out that a lot of historians do believe that Jesus did exist, did die, and did rise again after 3 days. So I was just going to argue that and say, like, yeah, this is historically accurate that happens. That is the main basis of Christianity that's based on. If Jesus didn't die and resurrect, there is no basis for Christianity.
Yeah, I reject the resurrection because I think I probably agree if the resurrection happened, and I think the case for Jesus's existence is like insanely strong. The problem is there's just no way that the resurrection actually happened. Like I've seen no evidence, like no strong evidence. Like what evidence do you think exists that actually proves the truth of the resurrection?
500 eyewitness accounts.
So
saying
could I read these 500 eyewitness accounts, or is there just like vague gesturing to these? Like, is there one person who vaguely gestures to these 500 eyewitness accounts?
I'm going to say no, but let's see, I would have to get back on the History Channel and, find that where the actual documents are written. I believe they're also located in the Bible Museum here in the
Yeah.
U.S.
Yeah, immaculate source. Yeah, but
And also the fact that these people were killed by the Roman Empire, pretty.
no, there's no evidence for that. There's no evidence that these people were like tortured to death.
So there's no Roman documents saying that these people died. No.
They might have, there might be documents. So if the claim is just that the disciples died, like I agree, it's been like 2,000 years. But if the claim is that they were tortured to death, and being like told give up your belief in Jesus, there's no evidence for this, none whatsoever.
Yeah, I wish I had the documents on me to show you, but I don't.
Yeah, me too. Well, I appreciate you coming on up here, unless you have anything else.
I think that's it. Just that, and then what about signs and wonders that prove God's existence?
What about signs and wonders that prove God's existence?
Let's see, miracles of healing. Today's prophets who say that they hear from God up in heaven for future events. Things like that. There's one who I really like on YouTube. His name is Troy Black, and he's been very accurate with his prophetic messages. So he does have a history and a playlist on there that shows, timestamps of when the video came out, giving the prophetic message, and then a follow-up video. It could be anywhere from days later to even months later. So he did get a message about the Queen dying, like maybe a few days before she did die. I want to say, what was that, last year when that happens? So he's got stuff like that.
Yeah, so I can't speak to what is his name, like Trey Black? What was
Troy Black?
Troy Black? I can't speak to Troy Black. If you want, like, there's like lots of like general critiques of like psychics. Like you can look at all the prophecies that haven't come true. The simple fact of the matter is that if you spend like a lot of time each day saying like this thing's going to happen and this thing's going to happen and this thing's going to happen and this thing's going to happen, some of the stuff is going to happen. Like if I said like Donald Trump is going to win the election, and then like 3 days from now I said like Joe Biden's going to win the election, um, or like Donald Trump is going to win an election in the future, and or like Joe Biden is going to win an election in the future, then we could say like, wow, look at that, Joe Biden won the election. That's that prophecy coming true. And this prophecy, the one about like Donald Trump winning a future election, that one hasn't come false yet, or like because there, it's still possible that he wins one in the future. Like there's just lots of ways that you can build like workarounds, and there probably, if you went through like all of his predictions, there probably are ones that are just completely irreconcilable.
There's none that I can think of.
Well,
He
I mean, I
doesn't.
just haven't seen some, and I don't believe in psychics, so I would have to actually like look into it.
Yeah, it's worth looking into. I think you would be, pretty impressed, or maybe it might make you think a little about prophecy. Prophecy is in the Bible as well as does it still go on today. So,
Hmm.
um, I mentioned my denomination ideologies stretch between Pentecostal and Word of Faith, and those do believe in prophecy today. So continuation, so laying hands on the sick, they will recover. Prophecy, uh, other things like that. So
Yeah, I guess you'd call me like a skeptic in regards to those things. I don't think that those things are like so. I think that either they have natural explanations or they didn't happen.
let's see. Yeah, I mean, I used to be skeptical too about this kind of stuff, but just really, you really do have to look into it. That's why I recommended his channel specifically because he does lay it out pretty simple, and there's no miss with him. That's the
Yeah.
thing. There's none. He doesn't just wildly say things like this guy's going to win the presidency, then that guy's going to win the presidency. He doesn't do that.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you,
I just can't speak to this, but I'm probably gonna move
okay.
on to the next guest, and I appreciate you coming on up here. Yo, I think I saw like a comment that's like Cliff could answer all this guy's questions and objections. If you've seen Cliff in an actual debate, he doesn't do very well. Like go watch like the Cliff versus like Matt Dillahunty debate. Cliff gets like clobbered. It's really embarrassing. Cliff looks good against like unprepared college students, as does like Ben Shapiro and like Matt Walsh. Like these are genuinely the only people that any of these folks can win debates against. But make sure you're like double tapping on that screen. Let's get it up to like 60K likes. Share it with your friends. Drop a follow as well. If you want to support the stream, or the Venmo is allegedly Dash Ian and the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. And if you want to join the Discord, as many have before you, the link is in the bio. You need to access it via the app by just copying the link and then pasting it directly into your app. Um, and with that, we'll go on to the next guest. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Right, why didn't you think God is real?
You gotta be like 3 years old. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Yo, it's good, bro.
Hey, how old are you?
I'm 19, bro.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
I'm Christianity, but I would have.
You're muted. Do you want to come off mute and finish the? Do you want to finish the statement? Do you want to deliver the message, or you're? Wait, maybe. Yeah, yeah. So
No,
you're.
I just don't understand. Like, how do you like? I want to understand. Like, how do you think like life was created and stuff like that?
Oh, so I think the leading theory is called abiogenesis, essentially that life resulted from non-life because the Earth was the perfect conditions, like a million or like a billion, not a million, like a billion years ago. The Earth was the perfect conditions for the formation of the first protocells, which later evolved into the first cells. That we went from like molecules to organic compounds to organelles to protocells, and then these protocells went on to replicate and evolve into like full-blown cells.
So a theory, basically, type shit.
Yeah, so well, I mean, you think that God just poofed it into existence, which isn't even a theory. Like, there's evidence for my belief. and there's not evidence for your belief. But if you want to call it a theory, then yeah.
I'm not. I guess. All right, bro. Yeah, you have a blessed day, bro.
Is that it? Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on up here.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you're dropping a follow if you're enjoying the debate so far. Only request to join if you're a real deal hardcore debate lord. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
Already 18.
Yeah, and what year were you born? If you're off the app, I can't hear you. If you're off the app, I can't hear you. Okay. Well, damn, I just want like a guest who stays on and like finishes what they start. If you're gonna request to join, maybe you should. Do you have a spouse? I have two. Good question. Yeah, I'm like the Trinity, right? Like with the number of spouses that I have. No, I'm kidding. Make sure you double tap on that screen, share it with your friends, drop a comment as well. Uh, I don't know. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hi, Nanny.
Hey, what's
Hi.
up? Unfortunately, you gotta be 18 or older to join. All right, here's how we'll do it. If you're 18 or older and you want to debate, if you have like real arguments, you think that you're not gonna give up in like 3 fucking seconds. Drop a 777 and I'll bring you on up. Don't be a yapper. Be 18 or older. I can bring you on up. You also have to be like requesting to join, right? Like you can't if you're not requesting to join. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, how are you, dude? How are you?
Doing well, doing well. How old are you?
I'm 36.
Yeah, perfect. And what religion are you?
I'm Christian.
Yeah. So what's your best argument for the truth of Christianity?
Can I say something real quick? Because I was thinking about the whole can God make a rock so big that he can't lift it
Yeah.
argument, you know?
Yeah.
So,
So just like give context for people. The argument is essentially that there's a contradiction and the claim that someone can be all powerful because there's like certain things like the power to do something which restricts yourself. But of course, like being restricted is going to be a violation of being all powerful. So if God's all powerful, can he make a hot pocket that's so hot he can't touch it?
so yeah, with the rock thing though, because I do believe that omnipotence has nothing to do. Well, he has nothing to do with doing something illogical, right? So it's a nonsense question. But God could make a rock so big he can't lift it if he made that rock fill up every spatial parameter in all of existence.
Yeah, wait,
Because
so let's just
so
do
big, you couldn't move it.
yeah, okay, wait. So God could make the rock so big he can't move it, and then without like changing anything about the world, does God have the power to lift it or move it?
Precisely, he wouldn't be able to. So I just thought that was a fun
That's
little
fine.
thought experiment.
That's like
You know?
totally fine. So I guess like God's not all powerful if that's the scenario.
So yeah. So do you want to talk about the problem of evil? Because
Wait, we're like pivoting all over the place. Like we can, but
Oh no,
like
that
let's
was just a fun thing I wanted to say.
yeah,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. Sure. If God's all good, I don't know. Which one do we want to pick? Why do kids get cancer?
Okay, so my answer to the problem of evil isn't so much a theodicy, but it's a defense. So a theodicy is something that says, oh, this gives you a real reason why. Whereas defense just says, here's maybe how it could have happened. And
I think I'm not sure what the difference is between a theodicy and a defense in this scenario. Like a defense of the problem of evil is just called a theodicy.
okay, if you study Alvin Plantinga, I don't know if you've read him, he makes that distinction in his works between him and Mackey, which was like the huge proponent for the logical problem of evil, who eventually conceded to Plantinga. he made that distinction, but I guess it's not necessary for
Oh
me
wait,
to
that's
make.
fine. And okay, wait. Actually, if you're if you're based in literature pilled, the specific problem of evil I'm going to run at you is actually just going to be earthquakes, because I think earthquakes are the strongest, but I like to keep variety.
Cool, cool. Essentially, it wouldn't be illogical for God to still be all good as long as he had morally sufficient reasons for allowing it.
Gotcha. So, do you think God had morally sufficient reasons for allowing 224,000 people to die in an earthquake in Indonesia in 2004?
So yeah, I
Okay.
don't think I could give you the exact reason why God did allow that, though. What I could do is provide reasons that he may have allowed it without particularly settling on one.
That's
Because
fine,
I don't know.
but the answer yes is like just the reductio. Like saying that
So
like
when you have, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, I'm sorry, and I interrupt you as well. But like if you, I think the claim that these 224,000 innocent people dying was like done with good moral reason, to me that's like on face and absurdity.
Okay, so if a greater good could come from a bad thing happening, it would give God morally sufficient reasons for allowing it to happen.
So
So, for instance, like bad things happen, right? But certain bad things are necessary for these greater goods to happen. For instance, mercy, sacrifice, justice, forgiveness. These things can only happen when a negative occurs. If you want to call it like an evil, or you want to call it like a tragedy, you can use those words. But essentially, something bad does need to happen in order for us to forgive someone or to show courage and determination. Things like these, I believe, God ranks as higher goods and wants a world in which these things exist. And it's an unfortunate tragedy that certain bad things have to happen for those to actualize.
okay, so do you think that if you're just going to be like a defender of like utilitarianism or whatever, or is that what you're saying? Are you a defender? Are you saying that like good is going to be things that are done for the greater good?
I would say I hate calling it utilitarianism because I really don't see myself as that. I consider myself I affirm Christian virtue ethics, which is really is what it's called. But I would say that if you want a world where justice occurs, which I think God does want a world where justice occurs, bad things got to happen.
Not all of them. So there's like some bad things which it's like totally reasonable. Like in order to have like the good of bravery, you need like the bad of fear. That's true.
Perfect,
However,
exactly.
there is literally no situation that requires the death of like 224,000 people, like innocent people, in order to bring out like a good outcome.
I mean, I'd argue that we don't know that, and it's not illogical to assume that something greater did come from that. And
So
remember, I said illogical. Like, it's not illogical.
it's not yeah, I suppose like it's not illogical that we all live in like there's no logical contradiction in thinking that we all like live in a simulation, and that we're going to like transcend into like a higher consciousness in 3 seconds from now. There's no like logical contradiction in thinking that like nobody else is like a conscious entity, and that the only conscious entity is you, or like believing in like just straight up solipsism, that you are the only thing that actually exists in the universe and the rest of it is just an illusion or like a hallucination. There's no
Right,
logical
exactly.
contradiction. I'm not convinced by any of these things.
Oh, sure. No, I never assumed I would be able to convince you. I really just wanted to focus on the fact that there is no logical problem of evil.
No, I
And
agree.
as
I
for-
don't run a logical problem of evil.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I thought you did, and I apologize.
No, you're good. You're chilling.
I think for me, and once again, I'm a probabilistic theist, okay? I don't think I believe anything is certain, okay? Like outside of math and logic, I really don't believe anything has proofs behind it. But I think that theism is the most logical way to explain certain things like the problem of contingency. Where do you stand on issues with needing something to be necessary? You need a necessary thing.
I think that I think these are going to be equal on like exactly equal footing in like the Christian worldview and in the atheist worldview, or like I defend naturalism. I'm a Graham Oppie stan. So I would say
Love
that
Oppie.
yeah, me too.
Huge fan.
He's great. No, he's wonderful. But
Huge fan. He's so charming, and he's a good atheist debater, and he's smart.
yeah, he's like the only. There's like two good Australians in the world, and he's one of them. So no, I'm sorry. I
love that.
Australians
That's funny.
out there. But
is the other one Steve Irwin?
no, I can't say who the other one is.
Oh, Steve Irwin was South African. My bad. If I'm not.
No, so
But yeah,
I think yeah, so I think there's like one of two things. So either like the universe was necessary, or it's like just a brute fact that it exists in the naturalist worldview and the theist worldview. So either like the fact that God would make this universe was necessary, or it's just going to be a brute fact that he did. In the same way, like the fact that like whatever first initial state existed was either necessary or it's just a brute fact.
I think my problem with that view would be, and make sure I'm characterizing you appropriately here, is that because of the theory of relativity and all that jazz, and space and time being kind of interlinked, you can't have like space without time, and therefore you're kind of ending up with an infinite regress if the universe had always existed. Am I wrong in saying that?
Maybe. So I don't necessarily think that there's like a problem with infinite regress. I can just say that like after an infinite amount of time, we would eventually arrive at like the point that we currently are. And given that I would just say that like time is infinite, there's no logical contradiction in holding that. I could also just say that like time didn't exist before like the singularity did what it did.
So I think you would have to fall upon the idea that time didn't exist before the singularity, because I do see a problem with infinite regress. I definitely hold to the idea that it would take an infinite amount of time to reach this moment, and therefore this moment would never actualize.
Well, but no, because it would after an infinite amount of time. Like if you could pass an infinite amount of time.
Right? So it would take an infinity, so it would never occur.
No, so after like, let's say that there's a store that's a million miles, or that's infinite miles away.
Yeah.
And you travel infinite miles. Do you reach the store?
No.
So you wouldn't reach the store that's an infinite number of miles away if you traveled an infinite number of miles.
Okay. Well, that's fun. Okay, let me think about that. Let me chew on that for a second.
Yeah.
If I traveled an infinite amount of time, so that would be the equivalent distance of it, then I guess I would. I mean, I would love to hear Dr. Blitz's physics on this. If two things go an infinite distance, are they going at the same speed, at the same rate? Do they end up at the same point? Like,
yeah.
I feel like Dr. Blitz would be great to have right now. But
definitely. But
I would argue that.
Maybe I'll just say that like we can scrap this argument entirely and just say that like time didn't exist, and then because I would just defend like a necessary like singularity, or like just a brute fact singularity, depending on whether you defend God as being either necessary or you defend God as like, you know, he just like had the desires to do the things that he did. Like he just desired to do good, thus he did good.
So we get to that point where, okay, so that singularity T0, right? Take it back to T0. Yep. T0 is the necessary, is the brute fact. Okay. And then something changed, something did something. And I feel like for that, and I'm not saying I'm certain about this, but I think probabilistically the best case is that you need an agent with a will in order for that thing to have gone from a state of T0 to T1.
So why did this agent will for this change to occur?
So we would get into my theology towards God, which is always evolving and always changing. But I think one of my best things I've landed on is that creation is what a perfect being would do. I think it makes a perfect being more perfect to have the will to create.
More perfect.
Well, okay. More perfect. More perfect is a bad way of saying it, I guess. I don't want to get drawn into semantics. I don't think that a being that doesn't create isn't perfect. Is that a better way of saying
A
it?
being that doesn't create isn't perfect.
Right. I think when you're thinking about the attributes of greatness, I think, and perfection, I think creation comes from that being. And this is something that I struggle with too, by the way. So please feel free to pick it clean if you want, and then let me see what my logic's wrong.
So
I think creation is an
what's your justification for this? Like, why must a perfect being create?
I think that without creation, you're less perfect.
Was there a point in causality where
you have nothing to
God?
compare yourself to? Think about it that way. Like, you have nothing. You just are it. It's more perfect to have other things.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I'm going, but help me out with it.
Yeah. So was there a time when God wasn't, or so? God.
Yes.
Was there a point in causality? Not a time. Was there a point in like? Do you agree that God does things like in a specific causal chain, that He creates the earth before He creates humans?
I think God is temporal. Dr. Ryan Mullins is a big proponent of this, and I think he's even getting William Lane Craig on board with this, by the way, too. Because even William Lane Craig believes that once creation was created, God entered into time indefinitely, like forever. He believes that before creation, God was atemporal, whereas Mullins believes that God was always temporal. Time is an attribute of God in the same manner that logic would be, right? It's almost a neo-divine simplicity argument. Sure. But I think I lean more towards that, whereas T0, first moment, no time, is just God kind of chilling with the desire to create, because that's a part of Him. And then the second moment would be the moment of creation. And then now we have time. So you don't end up in an infinite regress.
Okay, wait. So do you think that the desire to create makes you perfect, or actually creating makes you perfect?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say that the potential here, let me try this. I think that the potential for creation as an attribute of God is an aspect of His perfection.
Okay, why?
So
wait, are you just saying that He was perfect because He had like the potential to create?
Agreed. Yes. So just as logic is an attribute of God, most theists hold to this. We don't believe God is bound by logic. We believe logic is an attribute of God. It's part. It's like His arms and His legs. It's part of Him. So God can't do something illogical, right? And therefore, I would say time is also like that. At least that's how Ryan Mullins expresses it, and I think I'm privy to agree.
Okay, so it's not the desire; it's just rather the potential. So
yeah, I think so. I would definitely want to think about that more. And that's good that you brought that up.
Was God perfect after He created?
God is perfect.
Yeah. But He was like still perfect after He created. But would you hold that?
Yeah. 100%,
did he still have the potential to create after He created?
Oh, I don't think God is ever ceasing to create now, ever since we've been in time. But I think that after God created, He was still perfect. Like, you know that what's his name? He's popular on this app. Parker. Yeah. He had that argument where, he was perfect, so why did he create? And now that He's created, He's less perfect. I don't buy that. I think it's interesting, but I don't buy it. So I don't want. Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that.
And like to be clear, I don't run this argument. I'm not like a God. Because I think that there's like my account of desire specifically is going to be like very different.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Wherein like I view desire as a thing that can't be fulfilled, which means that I think that it's like totally fine to desire things, which don't really make sense.
Interesting. Okay, that's fun.
But I don't know. It's like, because I take like you're probably not involved. You're obviously like very philosophically involved, but you're probably not involved with like psychoanalysis, which is like my favorite field of philosophy. But like Freud and Lacan, just like from like a philosophical perspective.
You're right. I am definitely weak when it comes to that. But I definitely had to do a little bit of that because I did social work for a while.
Oh,
So,
hell yeah. Let's go.
so maybe I put my toes in the water, but that's about as far as it goes. I'm more into like philosophy of time and theology and Christian biblical studies, things of that nature. But yeah.
Wait.
Shoot, we're getting off track. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, wait, okay, because I think that if you think that God exists within time, there's like an interesting dilemma that maybe you'd have like
not within time. I don't like that. I'm so sorry to cut you off. I don't like that phraseology to say that God is in time. I like saying God is temporal, and I like saying that time is an attribute of God.
Okay. Do you think? So wait. Do you think God has free will?
Does God have free will? So I'm a compatibilist when it comes to free will. So I'm not. Does he have libertarian free will, I guess is what you'd be asking?
Well, I mean, I think libertarian free will is like nonsense anyway, but like whatever your conception of free will.
As do I.
Yeah, just like the ability to choose otherwise. Do you think that God...
I don't know. I don't think God can choose against his nature. So if you would call that not having free will, then yeah, but I don't believe free will is that. I believe free will is making unimpeded decisions. Like as in, like, if you throw me in jail, my free will is limited to as me being outside. You know, just because I'm outside now doesn't mean I don't have. I'm a compatibilist, so yeah.
So do you think that we're like
nature? Yeah, I think he's impeded by his nature, but I don't think
we're
that's
always like that. Nobody has free will ever because like you don't have the free will to fly.
No. But I don't look at libertarian free will. Remember, so I don't see it like that. I believe we are impeded by our biology, by the circumstances we're brought about in, by the actions of other agents around us. For sure.
Oh, I think this actually makes. I think this makes like
sorry.
a lot more problems for Christianity, just as like a worldview. This makes like Christianity like far less plausible. Because would you agree that like everything that you do is going to be like predetermined by like prior causes?
Oh, by prior causes?
Yeah.
Well, because we're temporal creatures, that has to be the case.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Cool.
I don't exist. I'm a presentist. I don't necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a presentist in my theory of time. I'm definitely like B theory of time, but yeah.
So you would agree that people can't do otherwise? They can only do like the thing that they're going to do, and that they don't have choices. They just have like the illusion of choices. That you have desires, and the only thing that you're ever going to do is like the thing that you desire to do the most. But you didn't choose your desires. You can't change them.
Do I change my desires? I definitely change my desires.
Oh, but that's only if you desire to change your desires in the first place. And of course, that desire needs a cause, which could either be one of two things, either like the result of a different desire, which of course like also leads into this path, the result of a different desire, or an external cause that was completely outside of your control. So either it's like eventually it's going to, the cause of all your desires are going to come back to things that are like external to you.
To a certain extent, I do believe that I'm hungry and I really want a hot dog or really want a slice of pizza. The hot dog's to the left, the pizza's to the right. I believe that I am the causal agent behind going left and right.
Maybe, but you recognize that like let's say that you go right and it's like without loss of generality, like you might just go right towards like the hot dog because your dad took you to like baseball games where you always got like a hot dog, and like hot dogs make you happy because of this.
Right. And it's my desire to, maybe my dad died, right? And I miss him. So I want, and I'm having this bad day. Girlfriend dumped me. So I want to feel close to my pops. So I chose the hot dog that day. So I do believe that I was the agent who made that decision, because otherwise we get into really, really muddy waters about justice and desert and punishment. Because essentially, if we're going to make the conversation so unnuanced that you are just this biological blob that acts like a computer, that we have no right to jail people. We have no right to do things like that other than to curb that behavior away from the public.
Yes. Well,
so I think, and like, so like, I can't, behavior modification is real, but I also think values in a person matter.
Okay, so there's like two things here. The first is that like you specifically use the word decision, which to me I'm like skeptical of like whether you have at all in the first place. I'm not sure if we could even say that like you're making decisions insofar as it seems like you didn't have the ability to do otherwise, because all of your desires are going to be caused by like prior causes. And yes, you're like the agent who's carrying out these desires, but ultimately and
Sure.
fundamentally, you did not pick these desires, unless it was via a different desire which you didn't pick, unless that desire was also via a different desire that you didn't pick, like going all the way back until your very first desire, which was probably for like milk or something. I don't know. Like
so all things considered equal, like if, and I hate using that term, ever since the whole like Dean and Theus Brooks debate, I've hated using that term, but I find myself using it. So all things considered equal, if I have decision A or decision B and I desire them both equally, but I make a decision, I chose that. Am I wrong?
So no. I'm not sure.
Let's say-
I don't think it's possible for you to desire something equally.
Okay. Do you see how that becomes that? Do you see how that enters into the realm of unfalsifiability?
Well, yeah, but I think philosophy is largely unfalsifiable.
Yeah. But just like Occam's razor, I think these are good tools to use. That when something becomes completely unfalsifiable, I don't think it has much explanatory value. Like, I think that if you said, like, if I chose to like go out and rob, right, instead of getting a job, you would be upset with me. You'd say, Keith, you made that bad decision, and I'd be like, no, I was predetermined to do. Well, that doesn't help anything.
That's fine.
Value. There's zero utility in it, and therefore, I think it's kind of gobbledygook to say, and also to form a philosophy around.
So that's fine. So we still punish the agent is my point though. Like it doesn't matter if you had the free will or don't have the free will. You are the agent, so we can punish you for that, but at the same time that's not incompatible with the claim that you fundamentally do not have the free will. The place where this is, so would you agree that people do not have the ability to do anything other than what they end up doing? Like what you do, all you're going to do, based on the current state of the universe right now,
right,
all you're going to do is like predetermined.
So, and once again, I feel like all throughout my life, I'm like, where's Dr. Blitz? Many worlds interpretation would say that, yes, it's possible. Many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics would say, yeah, it's possible. Like anything that could have happened did actually indeed happen. I just happen to be living in this timeline, right?
No, that's not the many worlds I thought the many worlds interpretation was just that like superposition, like that there's like a different world or like a different universe where like the superposition was like the other one.
So yeah, I'm no expert on this. So if you're saying I'm wrong, I'll probably
it's not saying that.
My idea of world of many worlds was that literally everything did freaking happen.
No, I don't think that's accurate.
I did turn right. It just didn't happen in this actualized universe.
Yeah, that's not what the many worlds interpretation is. But
okay.
Well, I think my understanding of the many worlds interpretation is just that. So, like, we have the wave function collapse, right? So it's at it's at like superposition A or it's at like superposition B. If it like collapses to A in this world, there was a world that was like exactly the same except it collapsed to B instead. There's like just like a completely separate universe.
I think that's that's exactly what I meant. That's exactly what I said. I'm so sorry if I, sounded like a word salad, but that's exactly what I meant. So it did occur in a separate world.
No, not. This isn't talking about like every event. This is just talking about like the superpositions that like atoms have or like electrons, I think, have.
Are you saying that when you make it like macroscopic, it doesn't apply?
Yeah, so this is not saying like the many worlds interpretation is not like, well, you could have eaten like frosted flakes or you could have eaten like Apple Jacks. you ate Frosted Flakes, but there's a different universe, there's a different world where you ate Applejack. That's not what it's saying. It's not talking about events. It's talking about like, so I believe, and I could be wrong because I'm not like the physics lord here.
I'm like literally certain I've heard people say that
that's like the pseudo intellectual, like,
was it the woo woo stuff?
It's like woo woo nonsense. That's like, this isn't actual physics. This is like the many worlds interpretation taken by people who have literally no idea what they're like, who are like sci-fi writers essentially.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna turn on my AC. Let me know if you hear it in the background and if it's annoying. Do you hear it in the background?
I think it might get filtered out. Oh, it's good now. Yeah. No, you're chilling.
Okay, so I can have it on. Thanks, man.
Yeah. You have my permission to have it now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, thanks for clarifying that. That helps a lot. I'll definitely do a deeper dive into that. So, do I think I could have done something otherwise? I do believe in temporality and B theory of time, so I guess not.
Okay.
Because I think that there is only one timeline. There is one actualization of reality, and that's the way it happens. But I do believe that I was a causal agent in that, and I do believe that to say I'm a robot, which is essentially what this is boiling down to if you don't believe that, I think it's silly, and you run into a lot of issues. But yeah.
Well, I'm just asking about like your perspective, and like, I think libertarian free will is nonsense. But what I especially think that I think the biggest problem with this view, with the view that we are like.
So you're a hard determinist. Am I wrong? You're a hard.
I don't know what you'd classify this as. I think that this is like one large verbal dispute where we just define what free will means differently. So to me, free will is just going to be the ability to choose otherwise. If you can't choose otherwise, you don't have free will in my mind.
Okay, so then, I would not argue that is what free will means. But under that definition, yeah, I think I would say that you did not have the... no, I don't know what I want to say. I believe you had the potential to choose otherwise. Yes. It never actualized, though.
Okay, but you had so in what way did you have, so if you think that like every single event that happens is going to be caused by prior events, then how could you ever have the potential to do anything other than just what you do?
I am kind of stumped on this, no doubt about it.
It's something to think about,
Yeah, no, 100%. Definitely got to work up on my free will defense or compatibilist defense. But definitely for now, I don't have an answer to that, and that's a really good point. It's hard for me to say that I could possibly do something otherwise. Although I think compatibilists are in the semantics game. I think we all are agreeing that our present decisions are based off prior circumstances, because our present decisions, there's no other way to make a decision. A decision is saying, I have this body of knowledge, and what am I going to do to it? So like, there is no other way. Like if I'm at T0, then I have nothing to base my next decision on. So yeah, I do, but I don't like calling it. I don't like not saying there wasn't the potential for otherwise, and I'm not sure why I don't like it yet. So
I can give you a really good reason why you should not like it.
Okay, yeah, do it.
It's so I think that this is the reductio to like Christianity, like a Christian worldview that believes in like determinism, or like accepts like some level of determinism, or
Calvinism,
a lack of free will. Just that you're essentially saying that God is going to punish you forever. Like you're going to be tortured forever for something that, like, a scenario where you literally could not have done otherwise.
I'm a universalist, first of all. So
do you not think that anyone goes to hell?
I'm a universalist. I believe that in the end of days, no one's in hell. No one. No one.
Oh, chill.
I'm a universalist.
Oh, then I guess I'll just so the problem with this one, in my opinion, is that it just becomes like a very boring conversation, because
No, I totally get that. And dude, this has been enlightening, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah. No. But because like, and I'm not saying you're a boring person at all. I'm just saying that like if I'm not going to hell, like, what's the point?
I mean, I take the words in the Bible seriously when God says he wishes no one to go to hell. So, I mean, I put more weight on that. And I know we're all negotiating with the text. Just me personally, I put more weight on that.
No, I think that's like extremely like kind-hearted of you to do. I wish more Christians did that, so they didn't like use the threat of hell as like a thing to go and bash gay people with, or like bash trans people with.
Yeah, dude, I'm LGBTQ affirming. Yeah. I do not think it's at all inconsistent with A, the Bible, and B, what God is. Yeah. I think it's absurd otherwise. So yeah, we're in agreement there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I appreciate you coming on up here.
No, yeah. If you ever see me again, I'll probably try to pop up and I'll maybe I'll have an answer to you.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're very like well studied on this. No, I appreciate you coming on up here.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure watching you.
Yeah, hey, thanks so much. Hey, sorry, gang. I'm probably gonna call it for the night. This was just like a really quick like getting back to it stream. I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow at maybe like 2 Eastern. Who knows? Like 2 Eastern to like 3 East, or no, 2 Eastern to like 5 Eastern. But I love all of you. If you want to support the stream, Venmo and Cash App is in the bio. I appreciate those ones especially because TikTok takes like more than half of all of my income here. Let's go raid. We're gonna go raid Dean. Dean's live on, I think, his second account, which is, I can't find it now, but you know. Oh, god damn it, motherfucker. Oh no. Wait, did Dean? Oh god. Okay, we're all going to Parker's. Oh rip. Oh fuck. God damn it. Dean just went offline, so we're all going to Parker's. This is like Parker's, like, what is this, like his like 80th account? The Parker Get a Real Job account. God fucking damn it. Well, yeah. But you should consider joining the Discord if you're 18 or older. There's a link in the bio. I'd love to see you there. It's a great social space. We talk about politics, religion, philosophy. This is like a fun like getting back to it stream. But